So good afternoon and welcome to Europe Symposium Application and Overview presentation. My name is Jerry McMillan. I'm a Europe advisor, and over the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to talk about the upcoming symposium, what it is, what you can do, how you apply, and all sorts of stuff like that. So let's start with a very basic consideration. The first question is, what is the symposium? So the symposium, officially named the UC Irvine Undergraduate Research Symposium, is a week-long celebration of undergraduate research at UCI. And week-long means we've got stuff going on for 5 days. Monday through Thursday of that week, we have oral presentation spotlights in the evening. And then Friday, we have our giant poster and performance showcase, which is a day-long celebration of everything done that day. I'm not going to let you copy everything on this screen. We'll have plenty of more time to talk about this. But symposium, the first question after that, who can present? And the short answer is the symposium is open to presentations by all UCI undergraduate researchers, with one additional caveat. UCI undergraduate researchers who have conducted faculty-mentored research within the last year, mentored by UCI faculty mentors. But if that means you are eligible to present. Now, one other consideration, if you are a Europe Fellow, you must present at the symposium. Now, we define a Europe Fellow as somebody who has received support or recognition from Europe within the last year. And that could be a travel award last fall or this winter. It can mean the Fall Research Experience Fellowship. It can also mean the upcoming last year's Summer Undergraduate Research Program, or SERP. If you have received any of those, whether funded or not, you are required to present at the symposium. And just because the question always comes up, if you are required to present, you absolutely are required also to submit a registration form. We're not going to just assume, okay, you have to present, you're going to be there. You have to fill out the registration form or we won't have a space for you and we'll assume that you're cheating by taking an award and not presenting. Another limitation is as you're thinking about presenting, no student may present more than one individual presentation. And by individual presentation, all we mean is one undergraduate researcher. You may, however, present one or more group presentations. So if you're doing one individual presentation, you may also present with a group one or more times. If you don't have an individual presentation, you may absolutely present as part of a group. So limited to one individual presentation, but one or more groups are definitely welcome. And with that in mind, what does a presentation look like? And we have 3 different types of presentations, and I'll talk a little bit more about each in a minute. The first one is an oral presentation. You stand up in front of a room, you talk to people. You have an audience out in the room. You have slides, probably PowerPoint or equivalent, to illustrate the presentation you're making. You have a 7-minute time span to do your presentation. And as we showed on the schedule slide a couple moments ago, we have 4 evenings of oral presentations. Each of those evenings will have 10 presentations, so we will have a total of 40 oral presentations at the symposium. We also have poster presentations. The Friday poster and performance spotlight, we will have the floor of the Bren Center open for 3 different sessions of poster presentations. To present a poster, basically, you have an easel, you put a poster on it, and you stand next to the poster and talk about your research to any or all people that come by. The third type of presentation is arts performances. Research does not just take place in the academic fields. Research also takes place in the School of the Arts. But arts presentations are hard to do as a poster or an oral presentation. So we also have 3 different sessions of arts performances. And these are presentations by students who have conducted projects mentored by faculty within the School of the Arts. So as part of this symposium, we have these 3 different types of presentations. And it's up to you to figure out which type of presentation best fits your project and how you want to display it. So let's look in a little bit more detail. First of all, oral presentations. As I mentioned, an oral presentation is standing in front of a room talking to an audience, as in the picture on the right of the screen. You'll probably have a PowerPoint presentation. Those slides are there to illustrate the talk that you're doing. Just as a side note, I hear a lot of students talk about, I'm going to do a PowerPoint presentation. And I would urge you not to think in those terms. Think rather in terms of, I'm going to do a live presentation and use PowerPoint to illustrate what I'm talking about. The focus of the presentation is you. The slides are there to illustrate and enhance what you're talking about. We have 4 evenings of oral presentations. Each of those evenings has a different theme: insights, inspirations, forget the other 2, but each of those nights has a different theme. As you look at the themes during your registration process, think about which themes best illustrate your project and your relationship to it. We allow you to select more than one theme. We'll make the final assignment based on what you select. And we deliberately leave the themes vague. We don't have any real specific definitions as to what those themes are. It's up to you to look at those words and see if they apply to your presentation. The one exception to that is the Tuesday presentations with the theme impacts. That evening is for group presentations only. And it's also the only evening where we have group presentations. So if you're doing a group presentation, you need to sign up for the impacts session on the Tuesday night. If you're doing an individual presentation, you may sign up for any or all of the other 3. Select the evenings, the themes that fit your project and your schedule. And then, because we can only take 40 presentations, we know we're going to get more than that, more students who want to do presentations than that number. So if you want to do an oral presentation, we require you to submit an audition video. For the audition video, you do a 3-minute presentation, record it, submit it as part of your registration form. I'll talk more about registration in a little bit. Then after we receive all the auditions, we evaluate them and choose 10 presentations for each of the 4 evenings that we think give the best slate of presenters from the audition videos. So again, if you want to do an oral presentation, you are required to submit an audition video. Another great thing about Symposium is we have what we call the Chancellor's Awards for Excellence in Undergraduate Research. And depending on the type of presentation, you can be eligible to win a Chancellor's Award. For example, if you want to do an oral presentation, you submit your audition video. If you are selected to present, you will receive a Chancellor's Award. The Chancellor's Award is a certificate signed by the Chancellor himself. It's a great thing to put up in your office. It's also a great thing to put on your CV or resume. And then from the Chancellor's Award, each of the 4 evenings, we will have judges in the hall, and they will select one winner from the 10 presentations, and that winning project or that winning presentation will receive a gift card and additional benefits from that. So every final oral presenter will win a Chancellor's Award, but you're also being judged the evening of the presentation for even more prizes. The question is, if it's a group project, can more than one person be in the audition video? And let me slightly change the way I've been talking about it. For the purposes of the symposium, we are talking about group presentations, meaning more than one student presenting. If there are more than one student on a project, or if you're in a lab where there's a whole bunch of people working on stuff, but you are the only one presenting, that's an individual presentation. So all we care about in terms of the symposium is how many students are presenting. So I hope that clears up. The question comes up, where will this recording be posted? We'll post it on our symposium website within a week or so after we get it back. Moving on. So, as I mentioned, a couple of things. First of all, we will get more people wanting to do oral presentations than we can allow to do oral presentations. We also require students who've received support from Europe to present at the symposium, which raises the question, I want to do an oral presentation, but I wasn't selected as one of those 40 presentations. What happens now? So if you sign up for an oral presentation and you are required to present at the symposium, you're a Europe Fellow, we also require you to register for a poster. If you do not get an oral presentation, we will require you to present a poster on the Friday showcase. If you're not a Europe Fellow and you want to do an oral presentation, we give you the option of, if I'm not selected to do an oral presentation, would you like to do a poster? So in either of those cases, if you're not selected for one of the 40 oral presentation slots, you will have the opportunity to present in person with a poster. The one difference being, if you're a Europe Fellow, we require you to do a poster if you're not selected to do an oral presentation. So the question came up, what if our class schedule doesn't fit the Friday poster sessions? First of all, we're giving you several months to figure out how to make this work. Talk to your professors. See if there's a way of skipping class for that one day. There are universities that on days of their symposiums, all classes are canceled because everybody on campus realizes how important this sort of event is. Talk to your professors, talk to the people leading the sessions. Is there a way to make up the class if you skip it? Obviously, we don't want you to fall behind in your class, but see if you can work out some sort of concession. Also, if you are required to present and absolutely positively, without fail, cannot find any arrangement so that you can present at the symposium, contact the Europe office and we'll see if there's another way we can work things out. But that's only in last gasp situations. Again, you've got 2.5 months, or you've got a long time before the symposium. That should give you a lot of time to figure out other ways of doing things. So that's oral presentations. Let's talk posters. A poster presentation is 2 elements. A poster presentation is a poster and you. And neither of those is a complete presentation. You are intended to enhance each other. That means the poster provides a summary of your project, and you are there to talk about what's there, but also to talk about what's not there. As part of preparing for a poster presentation, we ask that you prepare a 3-minute pitch to talk about your research. As part of that pitch, you can absolutely refer to the poster, As you see in the picture on this slide, she's illustrating something, pointing at something on the slide. Plan to do that. But plan something around 3 minutes to describe your research. And just as a note, we realize that there are other places on campus that have their own poster sessions, that have other requirements for their presentations. Some require you to give an entire in-depth presentation of your research, can take 10 minutes or more. This is not what we want. We want you to aim for about 3 minutes to talk about the high points of your research. You want to have the people you're talking to want more information, to be able to ask you questions. You don't want to give an exhaustive list of your research, everything about it, so that their eyes glaze over and they just want to get away. So as you're planning to talk about a poster, plan something for no more than 3 minutes. Leave your audience wanting more, then interact with them, answer questions. But as you're planning, aim for 3 minutes. At the Friday poster showcase, we will have 3 different sessions. Select all that you can attend and be liberal in your selection process. If there's one session and you always have breakfast during that session, change your breakfast schedule. The more flexibility we have in scheduling, the more successful our event can be. So there will be 3 sessions. Pick any or all that you can attend. We will also have 11 themes, and you may select up to 5 themes that fit your presentation. And as with the oral presentation themes, we've deliberately left these fairly vague. It's up to you to interpret what they mean and whether your presentation fits that. And you can select up to 5 themes that fit your presentation. And then, as part of our process, we will select the theme and the session at which you will present based on what you've indicated your availability and interest are. So again, I ask that you give us as much flexibility as possible, but we'll make the final assignments based on what you've indicated in your registration form. So if you're doing a poster presentation, you also have the opportunity to win a Chancellor's Award. We will have judges present at the poster sessions. They will interact with you. They will hopefully not introduce themselves as judges, so you will treat them exactly the same way you will treat everybody else on the floor. If they want to ask about your research, talk to them. Give them your no more than 3-minute pitch. Answer questions if they have them. Interact with them. And then at the end of the day, we will present one Chancellor's Award to the winner from each of the 11 themes, regardless of which session you're presenting in. So there will be 11 winners that will receive Chancellor's Awards and gift cards based on the judging that takes place during the symposium, during the poster presentations. But one thing to know, if you want to be eligible for a Chancellor's Award, as part of the registration process, there will be a question that says, do you want to be judged for a Chancellor's Award? And if the answer to that is yes, click yes. And if you want to have your poster presentation judged at the symposium, you need to submit an audition video. We will have a limited number of judges, which means we cannot necessarily judge all of the poster presentations that will be there. So if you want to present a poster, sign up to do a poster, you're doing a poster. But if you want to have your poster presentation judged, you need to sign up to have it judged, and you need to present, include an audition video with your registration. The audition video is a 3-minute pitch with no slides, no background, no poster. It's just you talking. And from that, we will figure out how many posters we can judge at each session. And we will let you know whether or not your poster is going to be judged in late April. One other note, if you want to have your poster judged, in addition to submitting the video, we also require you to sign up for more than one session. If you want to be judged, you have to be available at more than one of the sessions for us to be able to consider you. Question came out, should you do for the audition video? So again, for the poster, it's a 3-minute audition pitch. It can be the same one you're going to deliver at the poster. It can be something different. As a note, you will have to do this well in advance of the actual symposium. I'll talk about the dates in a little bit. So you may still be collecting data. It won't be the final thing you'll be talking about when you're standing next to your poster. So deliver what you have. And again, you won't have any visual references while you're presenting, while you're doing the audition video. But give us what you've got at that point. And then by the time we get to the poster showcase, do whatever you have then. There's absolutely no requirement that it's the same in both places. We just want to know what you've got when you're presenting it. And one other thing, I forgot to mention this. Back to oral presentations. I mentioned you have to do an oral presentation audition video. So oral presentations in the in-person event are 7 minutes. The oral presentation audition video is 3 minutes. It's shorter. So you need, as you're preparing this, to think about what's most important to include in the audition video, knowing that you'll have a whole lot more time if you get to present that in person. So both audition videos are 3 minutes. The oral presentation in person is 7 minutes. The poster presentation in person is 3 minutes. So keep those times in mind. So, question came up. Couple of questions. If you want to present a poster but do not want to be judged, you have to register. You do not need to do an audition video. If you want to do a poster, just say, I want to do a poster. You're basically done. You only need to do an audition video if you want to be judged. The other question, if you want to do an oral presentation and get rejected, if you want to do a poster, you will automatically be doing a poster. And if you are auditioning for an oral presentation, want to do as a backup a poster, and would like that poster to be judged, then you will need to include one audition video for each type of presentation as part of your registration. They're different videos. So if you want to do an oral presentation and you want poster to be a backup, and if you do a poster you want it to be judged, you need to submit 2 audition videos. One for the oral presentation with slides and background and stuff, and one for the poster with no background, nothing visual except you. There's a lot more information on this sort of stuff that's available, and I'll talk in a bit on how to get to that. Moving on, third type of presentation at the symposium. I mentioned arts performances. These are projects mentored by faculty from the Claire Trevor School of the Arts. Last year we had performances from dance, music, theater, and it was an incredible array of talented students from small performances to fairly large ones. And these will be taking place during 3 sessions throughout the day. And if you have done a project mentored by one of the arts faculty and are interested in doing an arts performance, that's one of the choices on your registration form. So if you meet that criterion, sign up for arts performance as part of your registration. So we've got those 3 types of presentations. At the end of the Friday session, we have an awards ceremony. The awards are for student presentations. As I mentioned, oral presentations and posters are both eligible for awards. We also offer you the opportunity to nominate your faculty and grad student mentors to receive Chancellor's Awards for their mentorship. We will also present those awards at the award ceremony. And one additional note, for all students, you must be present at the award ceremony to win. So if you win the poster session, you are the best in that theme and you are not there, you are no longer eligible to win that Chancellor's Award. So put 3:30 to 4:20 that Friday on your calendar now. Plan to be there. Question came up, how many students are accepted to do poster presentations? All of them. We have 3 sessions. Last year we had about 250 students per session, which gave us room for 500. Now we got room for 750. So we will have plenty of space for all of you. Moving on, registration process. It's a 2-step process. Step 1 is due by April 7th, and I'll talk a little bit more about what each of these steps do. You complete your registration, you submit it by or on April 7th. We do a lot of stuff, make some assignments, and then we will return your form to you sometime in late April. When we return the form to you, you have some additional steps to take, and then you return the registration, submit it one more time, no later than May 5th. So keep those 2 dates in mind and know that we will not accept late submissions for either date. So with those in mind, what's each part mean? First of all, just as a note, anytime we list a date as a deadline, we mean 11:50 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. As a note, the platform on which we have built our registration form can sometimes get a little bit impacted near deadlines. People who want to submit their form at 11:58 on the deadline date have sometimes reported getting that little revolving circle of death and not being able to submit on time. Plan to submit earlier by at least several hours so that that person is not you. For the presenter registration, part 1, what do you include? Applicant information, names, email addresses, majors of each of the presenters. As a note, presenters are limited to undergraduate students or recent graduates who did their research as undergraduates. Submit information about your mentors. As a note, it is UROP policy that the primary mentor you list is a UCI faculty member. If you're working particularly in a lab under a grad student, who's the PI in the lab? They're the ones you list as your primary mentor. Once you list your primary mentor and their information, we give you the opportunity to mention one or more other mentors. That's where you can list your grad students. But the primary mentor must be a faculty member. Mentor information, again, names, email addresses, department, and school. Also, as you're filling out your mentor information, we give you the opportunity to nominate them for the Chancellor's Award, whether it's faculty or a grad student. We also ask for project information. What's the title of your project? We require you to submit an abstract, a 250-word paragraph describing your project in detail. And then information about your presentation. First of all, are you a UROP fellow? Are you required to present? Do you want to do an oral presentation or a poster presentation? Is this a group presentation or an individual presentation? For each of those, there are additional options. select the themes, select the sessions that you're available. As you go through this process, you'll answer a bunch of questions, all telling us about the presentation you want to do. This is also where you submit your audition videos, which, as I mentioned, audition videos. So you submit that by April 7. Then by late April, we will return this registration form to you for part 2. Deadline is May 5, again, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Again, do it several hours early. For this process, there are 3 different types of information. First of all, we require you to submit information for our online program. We want an image to put with your profile. We want a short 140-character description of your project. If you're doing an oral presentation, we also require you to give us a link for the PowerPoint slides you'll be using for your in-person presentation. If you're doing a poster, we require you to upload a PDF version of your poster. And you may be thinking, wait a minute, this is May 5th. If I'm doing a poster, that's on May 16th. What if I'm not done with my poster? And just as a note, most places that print posters for the symposium want at least a 10-day lead time. So ideally, you're uploading your poster to be printed at this point anyway. So these are things you must submit as part of part 2 of the registration. There are also things you may update. You don't have to. But if you want to change an email address, if your title is changed, if you want to add another student presenter, you can do that. You can change the title, you can update your abstract. If you're selected to do an oral presentation, you can also upload a different video that'll be included as part of your profile in our online program. You don't have to, but these are things that you have the option to update at this point in the registration process. The other thing is there are things that you may not update at this stage. Before we return your registration form to you, we will have assigned the type of presentation you're doing, the session at which you are presenting, and the theme under which you are presenting. You may not change those. Once we assign those are all final. So, question asked, does this mean that the oral presentation cannot be changed or updated after this deadline? The answer is it may, with a caveat. As part of this deadline, as part of the registration, you submit a link to your PowerPoint slides. As long as you are updating the file at that link, you may change it. As long as the link stays the same, you can make changes within the file up until midnight the night before your presentation. Changes you make after that time will not be included for your presentation. We'll take all the files we get, we upload them on a laptop. That laptop will be used to display all the files at the in-person event. So give us the link. You may make changes within that link. As long as the link doesn't change up until midnight the night before your presentation, you can do that. So do you have to print your poster yourselves? Yes. We do not have the ability to print posters for all of you. As a note, if you receive funding for the Research Experience Fellowship and have not used all that funding, poster printing is a very valid way to use that money. We also, I'll tell you where to find this information in a moment, have resources where you can get your poster printed. Some offer discounts for our symposium, but you are responsible for getting the poster printed. The question is, what app do I recommend? And the answer is whatever you're comfortable with. People do it in PowerPoint, people do it in Google Slides, people do it in Trello. If you've got Illustrator and are comfortable with it, it's great. But whatever you're comfortable with, usually what the print shop wants is a PDF. Although definitely contact the print shop for details and specific requirements because they can all be different. So with that, we've talked about the symposium. We've talked about the registration process. Let's pull back to the end. How do you find out more information? The first place to go is we have a guide on our website. The Student Presenter Guide is a very complete document that has information about every facet of the symposium. If you have any questions about the symposium, refer to the guide. In fact, we really suggest you refer to the guide before you do anything else. The table of contents has things listed by topic. So if you just want to do a poster, go to the poster session. You don't need to read the oral presentation stuff. But the guide is the source for all information about things symposium. So all the things we've talked about, poster printing, where do I get my poster printed? It's in the guide. If you come to us with questions about the symposium, a common answer will be, have you checked the guide? So avoid having us ask you that question. Check the guide first. There's a lot of stuff in there, and it will answer a whole lot of your questions. Question came up, if you're doing a poster, do you drop it off in advance? You bring it to the symposium on that Friday. In the guide, there are time windows regarding which session you're presenting. Each session has its own deadline by which you need to bring the poster. But you are responsible for bringing your poster on Friday the 16th to the symposium. So first resource is the guide. Second resource is the Europe website. And at this point, I'm going to switch my screen and give you a little quick run through on the Europe website. So europe.uci.edu, you've probably all been there at least a little bit. This is our homepage. Everything you're looking for is under Symposium. If you go to the Symposium overview page, you'll get brief information and some categories. The most important one for you at this point is student presenters. And note, that's also an item from the top menu. The student presenters page gives a brief introduction, talks about the different presentation types, and gives a link to the guide. Download the guide, refer to it early, often, and always. And when you are ready to start your registration process, click Register to Present. So go to our website to learn more, to get the guide, and to see all of the information that's available. The other resource I want to share is we have created a series of 6 videos for the symposium, all about the different types of presentations, how to register for the presentations, how to prepare good presentations, how to present your research effectively. These videos are also linked within the guide. Watch all of them, watch the ones that specifically appeal to you. But the 6 of them cover pretty much all of the different types of presentations you can be doing at the symposium and what to think about to make your presentation more effective. And then in addition to that, we'll be offering more presentations, more workshops on different facets of the symposium. We're finalizing our schedule now and should be able to announce them within the next couple of weeks. Couple to begin with. First of all, we will be doing, well, there's one today, you're here. We'll also do an in-person version of this same presentation on April 2nd. There will also be on Thursday, April 3rd, a presentation done by the Writing Center talking specifically about writing abstracts. And then, as I say, we'll be announcing more that'll talk about how to do effective presentations. We'll give you the opportunity to practice presentations and receive feedback for them. All of those are in process. We should be announcing them within the next couple of weeks. Keep your eye on the website. And then just to finish up, a couple of things. First of all, thanks for coming. Thanks for being interested enough in the symposium that you want to learn more. There will definitely be more information available, but a couple of things. One, reminder, the first deadline is April 7th, midnight. Well, just before midnight. Make sure you have your registration submitted by that point. 2 QR codes on this page. Linktree gives you a bunch of links, all the Europe stuff. The other thing, we do a lot of presentations, and the only way we know if we are doing them effectively is if you tell us. So the QR code on the right takes you to a short survey, and I invite you to fill it out and submit it. If this is the most amazing presentation you've ever attended, and it's probably not, but if it is, tell us. If there are things you wish I'd done differently, tell us. The only way we know how to improve what we do is if you tell us. So I invite you to fill out that survey. And then at this point, with that, I have finished the end of what I'm planning to talk about, and I will be willing to take questions. And first one in the chat, how do you get a mentor for the research? If you are not yet doing research, the first step is to have a UCI faculty mentor, and the best way to find out how to do that is to attend or watch the video for one of our Get Involved in Research presentations. If you go to our homepage, scroll down on the right, there's a link to a recording of that Get Involved in Research presentation. That's the perfect place to start. The other thing to do from our homepage, click Getting Started. And there's a flowchart of how to go through that process there as well. But definitely getting the mentor is the first step. Use those resources to figure out how best to do that. So are there specific requirements to what you should include the poster? Basically, no. Other than your name, who you are, and a title for your presentation, what you put on the poster is entirely up to you and how you feel you can best display your information. Read the guide, watch the video. We have a lot of suggestions on what to consider to do with the poster. But that's a very long topic that we don't have time to talk about now. But no requirements. It's just how can you best and most effectively present the information you want to share. That's what you want to do with the poster. Any other questions? Individual study with a professor would consider the professor as the mentor. Yes, with one caveat. And the only caveat being, talk to the faculty, say, would you be willing to support my symposium presentation? If they say yes, they absolutely count. But that definitely fits the bill for our purposes. Other questions? What I always do at this stage is I start a countdown at 5, go down slowly. If I reach 0, I end the call. If there are more questions, I stop the countdown, answer the questions, and start again. So 5, 4, 3. Do oral presentations get awards too? Yes. As I mentioned, every student that is selected to do an in-person oral presentation will receive a Chancellor's Award. And the best presentation of each of the 4 evenings receives a gift card in addition to that award. But every oral presenter who's selected to present will receive a Chancellor's Award. So starting the countdown again, 5, 4, 3, 2. Not every poster gets a Chancellor's Award. That's correct. First of all, you need to ask for your poster to be judged. And second, of the posters that are judged, one poster for each of the 11 themes is selected to receive the Chancellor's Award. So for poster presentations, there will be 11 Chancellor's Awards given out. Oral presentations are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings. Posters are Friday. Question came up, can you do both an oral and a poster? And I should have mentioned that earlier. The answer is basically you may only do one presentation per project. Which means if you are involved in one project, you may only do one presentation. If you are involved in multiple projects, you may present more than one of those as long as you only do one individual presentation. But the limit is one presentation per project and one individual presentation per student. Any other questions? Selection process for oral presentations, you submit the videos, we ship them out to judges, they tell us what they think. And we take the top 10 for each of the 4 themes. And how many there are going to be, no idea at this stage. So the important thing is give us the best one you can. There are rubrics for everything we judge. There are or will be links in the guide. Check them out. Following the rubric is a great way to increase your chances of winning. If someone misses the award portion on Friday, will the award be given to someone else? Right now, we have not made that decision. So the question we have yet to resolve is whether it's given to somebody else or we just do not give that award. But if a student is not there to receive an award for which they were selected, they will not receive that award. Other questions? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for coming. Look forward to seeing you at the symposium. Bye.